of flipping
You
it
know
over.
what I noticed about?
Excuse me, I flip
Okay,
it because I
great.
like it better this way. What do you guys think? Flip. It's called table and chair.
Interesting.
I kind of like it the first way,
Oh,
'cause I
really?
s-
Okay. All
but,
right.
but they both work.
Well, you know, I painted it every way. So during the painting process, I would flip it many times,
Yeah.
even though it's ended up to be tables and chairs.
I can see the suggestions of the tables and chairs in your original version. I do like the flip version though, and then I probably would change the name, but I like them both. I think they both work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's those colors
Yeah,
that
they're
love.
basically cruciform shape on the second one, I think.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like the American flag. They're up in the
Yeah.
top.
Yeah.
Which is,
I see. Yeah.
True.
which is interesting.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
This here. Yeah.
Yeah.
May I ask what a cruciform is? I'm so ignorant.
Well, you know, the cross,
Oh, okay. Is
it's one of the design principles, you know, like
uh-huh.
there's the golden section and there's horizontal, vertical, and I think cruciform is one that Faya uses a lot.
Don't ask me. I didn't have good art teachers.
Thank God. You're fine just the way you are, Joni.
No kidding.
Thanks, guys.
Anyway, I had fun doing it.
It's lovely.
Yes, it really
Thanks
is.
so much, Chris. Okay, and then
Oh, thank you.
here's Joy's contribution. Oh, excuse me. I'm reading too fast. Nancy, it's you. Very nice.
Yeah, that's
so
neat.
beautiful.
Oh.
I think I told Chris, I probably have mentioned before, I found this great Facebook site, and I'm not a big Facebooker, but it's landscape photo reference photos for artists. And so people from around the world take beautiful photographs and they share them so you can paint from them. And one of these is from this great guy in Malcolm Osman in England, and he is a professional retired photographer. So for the museums out there, and so his photos are magnificent, and I love the English landscape. So anyway, I picked this I picked this photo of almshouses. There's a church in the background, the steeple, and maybe another. And I love the lavender. Didn't quite get that as finely defined as I wanted, but actually when I was drawing it, I spent more time on trying to get the buildings done semi-correctly, because if architecture is off, that drives me crazy. So I spent more time on that, and then just finished up with a lot of color in the lavender.
Your lavender is
pen and ink.
gorgeous.
Thank you. Pen and ink and then watercolor.
Beautiful. Yeah.
When did you do this? Recently, Nancy?
I just finished this last week.
Oh, you've been busy.
Yeah, I haven't been painting a lot, of course, because it's still, it's getting fall, outside Midwest now we have leaves falling, so a lot of work, but I can paint more in winter. And I wasn't struck with the muse, but I wanted to finish this one, so I'm glad you like it.
Lovely. Well, I like your painting better than the photo.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
It has more feeling to it.
It does.
It does.
Yeah. And light.
It looks more three-dimensional.
Thank you. It kind of looks a little bit more storybook. I mean, I like the bright. I wanted to keep the colors bright because I'm a colorist, and I didn't want to really make the colors as dark as the old brick on the almshouses. So I made them more red. I'm telling you, I did this on purpose, but it was really an accident. But as Sally Pierce says, never say an accident. I intended it that way. So I intended the bricks to be brighter and redder.
Right.
Nice.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
It
Nancy.
looks great.
Great.
Enjoy.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Joy, that's gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Thank you.
So evocative. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of wet on wet.
Yeah, this other try to draw abstract. Yeah, when the ship went to Glacier Bay, and where most of us we thought it's beautiful, but a little bit disappointed because they muted already. because we went there in September, and after summer, the glacier is melted, and people told us if we went there in the spring, later spring in May, that you will see a lot of ice. So yeah, the ice just covered with black dust or something. We don't know.
Oh,
So when you say muted, do you mean that it's foggier and maybe not as sunny and crisp out, or there's more melting that shows the dirt? Or I like it, by the way. I love it.
Yes, it's still beautiful, but not white, not very blue. Some part is blue, but not. You can see many black cover on it. This is because after the summer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, my question is, I see you have a new Chinese block right here. Is this going to be instead of your signature from now on, or what? This block?
Yes, this is my signature, Chinese. Yeah, I gave this painting to my sister because she went to there with me. I gave to her, and she preferred this stamp instead of signature.
Have you always had the stamp?
Some.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you going to be signing still, or just using the stamp?
I use this stamp for this painting because can put some color on it.
Oh.
And my sister prefer because she made this stamp for me.
So it becomes part of the design.
Yes,
Yeah, there you go.
Nice.
Yeah, I love those stamps.
Yeah.
I do.
Thank
There's
you.
such a variety of some of their art themselves.
Thanks.
Yes.
Joy. Yeah, thank you.
Joy, you're fluid, loose, wet on wet, and yet you still find the ability to control it. So it just, it's just gorgeous. You're amazing.
I was going to
thank
ask
you,
the same
Lori.
thing about your process, Joy, because you left that beautiful bright white. How did you control that water when you were laying down the background of that cloudy sky, and then it just, you got that lovely brightness like you intended it to be right there? How did you stop the flow? I struggle with that.
Yes, use a spray bottle.
Okay.
Yeah, I
keep
found the
it back?
cheap paper is better than good paper for this kind of painting.
Okay.
No.
Because the water can flow.
Yeah.
I use arches paper,
Okay.
but they absorb the color so quickly.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And is this Prussian blue or Payne's gray or combo?
It's passion blue and
Aqua.
turquoise.
Turquoise.
Yeah, turquoise. Yes.
Oh, nice. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I love the
Yeah.
spots of orangey brown too.
I've got to move on, but
Yes.
I want to check who all is here yet. Thomas, are you here?
He's not here.
Scott, you're here. Oh,
I'm
welcome.
here.
Hi,
Yeah.
Scott.
Sorry, I got on trying to get a bill taken care of. Sorry, I'm
Nice to see you. How you doing?
doing great. My comment on this one, Joy, I mean, I love this one too. I think that on my screen, it's got, a white around it and then the blue on the outside. I think if it was framed that way with like a white mat and then a blue mat, it would really make this really pop, I think.
Yes.
Thank
Good
you.
comment. Great. Thanks, Scott.
Ooh. Oh, Lori. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Lori. That's so cute.
So I've been doing some close-ups, and I love to draw. It's actually my favorite thing. I find it really meditative. So,
too.
like Nancy, like you, I'm a member of this free reference photo group on Facebook. And so there were a couple of images I pulled for what you're going to see. And then I flipped them and I cropped them, went in closer and then interpreted them my way.
Yeah.
And there's no smudges on your pastel. I haven't gotten into that medium very deeply yet, but it looks so clean and gorgeous.
Well, and this is just on mixed media paper, so it is really challenging to control pastel.
Yeah, it's slippery on that.
Yeah, there's no teeth, but I just wipe it and then layer it and wipe it and layer it.
The background looks like watercolor. I
The
almost,
background is all pastel. The rest of it's colored pencil.
okay.
Mhm,
Mhm.
mhm.
Yeah, I like it. It's a simple and colorful.
Thank
It looks
you.
like it's moving too, which is a great implication.
Oh, thanks. That's good to know.
And there's
I
another,
had fun doing it.
yeah, here's another nice one.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh.
Oh, that's pretty.
Thank you. That's all. That's just Prismacolor pencil and graphite.
Graphite, yeah.
And again, the image that I used was very large with lots of other things going on. So I just closed in on it and then flipped it.
Just like Sally says. I love the fact that you put that really dark black area up on the top. I don't think it would have popped out as much without that. So,
Mhm.
you know,
It's
that really
actually
makes
not
it-
black, just so you know.
Yes.
But on the
Oh, is it?
screen, it looks black. It's a really dark, well, there's layers of color, but the darkest is a mahogany, kind
Okay.
of a red. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I
And-
love that palette, Lori. It looks like it's got lavender and some green in it.
Yes. Yeah. Opposites, right?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah, the little black areas you have here and here help to balance this black
Mhm.
here. So that's
Yeah.
also very nice. All
Right.
Well drawn too. Lovely.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I just framed it up. It looks pretty good in a little frame. So
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Suzanne, how did you manage to do this on the computer?
Okay, it's actually, I love going on and looking at nebulas from Hubble telescope and other places. So it's a nebula originally, and then I took it into Photoshop and changed the colors. And then there's a thing that you can use on Photoshop called Liquify, so you can actually paint the pixels so that they flow around like a paintbrush.
Wow.
So I went in and did that with that. It's really fun. Oh
Hmm.
my goodness. And so then it turned in, I was going, wow, okay, what am I going to do with that? So it's sort of been sitting in my storage stuff. But then I thought, well, I'll get it out. It looks sort of like a Halloween thing.
Mhm.
It looks like glass. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
It does look like glass.
just came out really interesting. If you flip it around, it eventually looks like some kind of animal, but that's the one I chose. I might have animate something that goes down and see that little hole there in the middle.
Mhm.
I brought it in the spirit of Halloween. I brought one of my puppets. This is Snavely. And also a mask that I found. I was cleaning out stuff that I made quite a while ago.
Oh, gosh.
I love Halloween. It's like one of my favorite holidays.
I pity the trick-or-treaters that come to your house.
Yeah,
let their
yeah, I
feet
love it.
run away.
I always have. So
Okay, very creative. Thanks so
Suzanne,
much.
can you show that mask again? I mean, I
Sure.
love masks. I'd love to do a mask someday.
yeah, I've done a lot of masks. I can't remember when I did this, but
And it's just made out of paper?
yeah,
colored-
it's just made out of paper. And this is egg crates things.
Yeah,
I used to do a lot of work with kids, so they inspired me to do things.
very cool. Very cool.
Mouth hanging out.
I like that.
Thank you.
Mhm, good. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Now, I know this is fuzzy. This is one of mine. I have two things. I did this and I treated it with the photo editing software. But I was at Palma Casino several years ago, and Chris Christopherson gave a show, and he's alive and well, and he's still performing in his 80s or something like that.
I love him.
Yeah, I mean, I could have sharpened this up and made it. I like the black with him against the black, but I was thinking in terms of, if I were to use it in jazzercise. What I tried to do with it now is I've created an overlay to kind of to jazz it up. So here's what I've done.
Oh, that
Ooh.
looks good. Yeah, that looks really good.
And
I love it because his guitar and his face and his hands still, are very prominent, which is great.
His hands look like they were moving just a second ago. I don't know, maybe I'm on drugs or something.
Yeah, drugs, right.
well, what I like is this little black strip along the bottom. I don't know how it appeared there, and it makes the guitar more interesting. But if I flip back, you'll see the differences.
Mhm.
And his face came out a lot more it's subdued, but in any event, I liked a lot of things that happened when I put the overlay on it. Suzanne could appreciate what happens in digital art.
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. The way that spot that's kind of like at his chest with the red pinkish area, that just kind of vibrates your eye to go back to the person.
Oh.
Yeah, I know that's not intentional, but up like by his shoulder.
Right here.
Actually, no, move it over to the right.
This here?
No, the background, that. I love that.
Oh, okay. It brings your eye back into the middle.
It brings my eye back to then go up and look at his face.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I love the original, but I love the overlay, Joan.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like the way the stripes went across his arm. There are little things that things fading out in and out. And what can I say? I like, it's one of those that I liked right away. Sometimes I have to slave for days and weeks, but this one just came right out, and I said, wow, because to me, I liked it. So
Yeah.
Good job.
yeah.
They make a great
Yeah.
poster for an ad or something.
Or an album cover.
Yeah, album cover, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Beautiful.
overlay really brings it to life. Really does.
Thanks, Scott. Okay. Now Geety, are you here?
Mm-mm.
Of course not. She sent a beautiful, look at this.
Oh, it's so pretty.
At least she sent me a title, and it's watercolor on arches, 12 by 15. And I want to make this bigger so you can see. I can't imagine this being a watercolor. Look at the
She did this in class, and she said that she used a lot of salt, different kinds of salt to get the texture.
Yeah, you can see it. Yeah, she did a great job with the salt.
She did.
Yeah.
you throw
because
the salt
so
on while the
varied.
paint is wet. While the paint is wet,
Yep.
you throw the salt.
Well, the
But
paint
not
is wet,
too
and it's really tricky. I have a hard time doing it, and it also depends on the grain. Like the finer
right.
the grain, like kind of on the bottom is a fine grain, and at the top probably is a coarser grain.
Mhm.
It's
But
gorgeous.
it's hard to do.
Joan, how could you think that this wasn't watercolor? This to me looks like it's totally watercolor.
Yeah.
I
Or
know.
did I mishear you?
It is watercolor. Now,
Yes.
my
Oh, I
question.
thought you said you didn't think it was watercolor.
No. Now, Chris, does the salt stay on and then it gets hard and it gets to be it's got a rough surface?
No, what happens is the salt, after it dries, you scrape the salt off, and it leaves those marks
Right.
where it just leaves the
Where the crystals
it
were.
leaves-
Yeah.
Grainy.
yeah.
Yeah, and you get
It looks
interesting
grainy, but
blooms.
it's smooth.
Yeah.
It
Dif-
creates
yeah,
interesting
different-
blooms too.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah, different kind of salt can make a different result.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. But I mean, what she did on the petals here is really,
Oh my God, that's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Such control. Could
Mhm.
never do that. Could never do that. Well.
I wish she'd show up sometime and help us talk about her work.
Yeah. Lovely. Is she in Diane Adams' class, Chris, with you?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm gonna try to
And
get
she
in
did
that one
talk
next year.
about the different kinds of salt. She talked about them and she showed them. One was pink, one was, I don't know, she had a bunch of different ones.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Cool. Lovely, Geety, if you're listening.
Yes, nice, Geety.
Well, she'll watch it on the replay.
Now,
Mhm.
That's true.
I'm
I've
just
gone back
Great
and
job,
I've,
Geety.
since I missed so many, I've gone back and look at you guys, and
Uh-oh.
it's really fun.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Scott, did you miss us? Is that why you're here?
Well, I have another group that
Oh.
that I'm in, that the national group that I have to. I mean, I can't, and they've kind of gotten off, so I'm able to attend today.
Oh,
and
good.
today in the future. Hopefully they'll stay on the same schedule, which is offset to these meetings.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. You've gotten to be a pretty famous sculptor now. I saw your work at the Oceanside Museum of Art.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, you've taken a real turn for upward. Very nice
Yes,
work.
congrats, Scott.
Very proud of you.
As long as it stays up.
Makes you happy, doesn't it?
It was
Yeah.
great to
It does. I mean, as artists, you always have goals in your artistic life that you want to reach, and that was one of them, of course, to get into an art museum. The other is to get into the biannual, and that seems to be harder than to get into an exhibit.
It seems
Keep
like.
trying.
Well, I loved seeing your work affiliated with the WPA show. That's an amazing show. And the sideshow they put in with your work was just, it really complemented it really nicely. So
What's WPA, Lori?
the works product, it's the Dijkstra, am I pronouncing it correctly? The Dijkstra collection?
Dijkstra's collection.
Dijkstra, yeah. It's a private collection.
Oh,
It's an amazing show.
I've never
I wish
heard of
you were-
it. Oh,
I wish you were here to see it. So,
yeah.
there's a lot of write-ups on it in the LA Times and in the local paper, the Union.
Mhm.
Really, it's actually, I
Cool.
thought about going to see it. Again.
Congrats.
Yeah,
Actually, they had a panel discussion that they were on too.
right.
And I went to that. It would have been nice if they would have mentioned the five artists that were in the joint exhibit, but they didn't.
They didn't, and they didn't record it either, did they?
I don't know. It may have been recorded. I think it was recorded. Where you can find it, I don't know.
Okay.
But,
Here we go.
I was actually there when they went through the exhibit with the docent.
The Wednesday group meetings at the restaurant, and political cartoonist, book illustrator, and abstract surrealist.
Oh, I love it.
Wonder
Yeah.
what medium he uses.
Like watercolor and pen and ink. Just
Scott, Scott, do you know? Because you've been going to the restaurant, but here's a close up of his the details.
It could be
Yeah.
gouache. He might have used gouache in there too. Looks
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's funny, at the breakfast, he sits there with a pad and he is drawing through the whole meeting. Except when he's eating, he draws the whole meeting. He's sitting there drawing.
wow. I'm envious.
It looks very Mayan or Aztec. I love it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You can see all the detail. I mean, he must
Yeah.
spend hours and hours and hours on each
Wow.
piece.
Yeah.
Scary.
I know all about that. When I was younger, my cross hatching pen and ink. I mean, it took months to get one piece done. I mean, I enjoyed all of it. So here's his.
Ooh.
Let's see.
His pieces look much better framed like this. He brought a couple of pieces in that were in pretty elaborate frames like this.
Those
And
are so fun.
his work,
Such a traditional frame for such a abstract painting.
so
Yeah.
ornate, and then you stick it in this frame and it just gives it a whole different dynamic.
Yeah.
It's like the creatures they made on the old maps.
Mhm.
If you look at the
Mhm.
really old maps, they always had these sort of nautical
Monsters.
creatures that are monsters because
Yeah.
you're gonna fall off the earth because it's flat, you know.
I knew you were going to like these, Suzanne.
Good
Oh,
point,
that's
Suzanne.
so cute.
Yeah, I'd like to meet him someday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thomas, you're in demand. Here we go. One more.
Oh,
Wow.
that's so cute. Oh my God.
Wow.
It's an alien. Oh,
Those flying bees, that scares
Yeah,
the
they're
crap.
scary looking, aren't they?
love
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Oh my God. That's
What a
great.
mind.
Wow.
Very cool.
Uh-huh.
He obviously loves to draw.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I wonder
Definitely.
how he started doing all that repetitive designing, and it takes a certain mind to get in there
Yeah.
and work it all out.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, very nice.
Like they're talking about his childhood.
Yeah.
What happened back there?
Oh, they're great.
Okay, and then Scott.
Ooh,
Oh, pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
wow.
This is a piece
It's
of wood
big.
that I found at a wood store that if you go to Lola's Mexican food place that's in the barrio in Carlsbad.
Oh, yeah, I live right next to that
Yep,
practically.
right across the street is this wood, I guess you'd call it a wood store. It's all kind of outside. And since I'm a wood person, I went in there not with the intention to buy anything, but I saw this piece of eucalyptus laying there and I said, oh my goodness, gotta have that. And I paid way too much money for it, but because it was just cut off of a tree that they were trimming, I think, up by the mall, off the 78 in El Camino. Eucalyptus wood is extremely hard, which I didn't know at the time I bought it, but it's actually as hard, if not harder, than oak. And it's when I was carving this, it was very difficult. I have some pictures that I could show you. I couldn't just grind out that center part. I had to actually use a drill and drill little tiny holes in that entire circle and then go and use a grinder to
In this area here?
that area right there, yeah. And then I have an idea in my mind, and so what I did was I stained the inside of that area so that it would contrast with the outside. And then those are the three pins there are actually brass that you can buy at Home Depot, and I cut those and inserted those into the side to give it kind of a musical thing. And the hole, of course, I cut out and then ground down, so it was nice. And
So this is a hole and not a ball.
correct, that's a hole.
I couldn't tell if you
not
put
a ball.
an egg
There's
in
no
there.
balls on this piece. I know everybody's disappointed.
You
And,
passed
Scott, did you varnish it then? It's just an extraordinary piece.
It's I use this polyurethane resin on all of my pieces. So
Okay.
I stained it. I used it on the inside as well as on the outside. It's an amber color, so it gives that kind of amberish color. And the wood grain of eucalyptus in this piece was really nice as well.
It's stunning.
And it was I was going to have three pins holding it on the base because it's so heavy, because any really hard dense wood is really heavy because it's it's just so dense. And so I wanted to have three pins, but it was hard just to get the two holes in the bottom, and I figured, okay, that's it. It's going to fit on two holes.
I love the treatment around the edges. It almost looks like you used a rasp or a file, and the texture of that kind of complements the smoothness in the middle.
Yeah.
Is it really rough around here on the edges?
Actually, it's very smooth, but on the backside, it's the actual live edge to it, where it was trimmed. It was actually sliced off the side of the tree. So I left it actually natural. If you flipped it around, you would see the back end. It actually has little worm tracks in it, things like that. So it's a nice contrast to the front, which is all smooth.
Yeah, I like the way the base is the same color, close to what's in the inside here. It kind of sets it all. It goes together, harmonizes.
Totally works.
Yeah.
And the base part is I've got like a inventory of bases that I've made, because the worst thing is when you're done with like the top part and then you have to have a base for it, and then you have to work on a base. I would rather just be able to bring out different colors and different woods of the bases that I've made, and then contrast them or see how they work with the actual piece. So that's what I did with this. So the African mahogany base was just perfect for this. Yeah.
Oh, it's very beautiful. I'm sorry, I was distracted. I had a phone call come in.
Standing.
Yeah,
And
keep
then
going, Scott. You're headed in the right direction.
I'm doing two more pieces in the same
Oh,
shape. One's in
look at that.
line. Anyway, let's go
Well, I
on.
don't think we're gonna have enough time to
goodness.
talk about these, but I'll talk quickly. This is my niece's. These are big paintings. They're called Kelly Rocks and Robert Rolls. And it's my nephew and this is his wife, Kelly, who she plays a trumpet. This was from 2016. So there's little William, my little great nephew in the corner looking up at mom playing the trumpet. But this is her hobby. She's very accomplished. She learned how to play the trumpet at Purdue, has toured with the orchestra and that. And I wanted to do a portrait without showing their faces because they're not good at faces. So I thought I'm going to pick something that, you know, we really like and admire about it. And so I picked this, and I like the way the trumpet came out.
I adore it. This is one of your best pieces, Nancy.
Thank you. It's very old. That's why I'm getting worse.
7 years ago. Yeah, this is magnificent. All the
Thank
treatment,
you.
everything. Oh boy.
Thank you. It took me a long time. It's 22 by 28. And if you can quickly show the other one, maybe
Yeah.
it'll,
Okay.
I mean, that was my, and this is my nephew. He did the ride across the Rockies. He's a cyclist, maybe not as much now, but I pictured him. I put in there Loveland Pass, which is the highest point in the Rockies that he was riding over. And I got rid of his teammates. I just made him. That's his accomplishment. And it was a challenge to paint, to draw it. I drew it on tissue paper first and tried to enlarge it. And then again, it's a big painting. And I gave them to them.
And the bike is not easy to draw.
I
I've done
know.
it.
And I love the way
difficult.
you treated the tires here. We're
Yeah.
going to get cut off in 40 seconds, but you use the photos as a reference and then you just zoomed in on the areas.
Right. Again,
So,
left off his head.
Robert Rolls and Kelly Rocks.
Right.
And
Kelly Rocks and
You
Robert
zoomed,
Rolls.
you
So
zoomed in on this part.
they have those hanging in their home. Those are my portraits of them.
Love that.
I want you to go back in time and
Fabulous,
start
Nancy.
painting like this, Nancy.
Thank
love
you.
that.
I will. No
I
heads.
love the
Off with their
style.
heads.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, all right. So we get to say goodbye and let's see. Do I need to go to gallery view? Yes, I do. Here we go.